and letting go of the things that are not meant for us. I'm just wondering, regarding things that are not meant for us, why do we want them so badly? Such as the wrong person in a relationship. Just, and asking to let go of, the desire so much and it just not going away. Can you help me understand why we so badly are drawn to things that are actually not a good match for us, or not a match with our frequency and vibration? Thank you so much.
They're in your life for a reason, but not necessarily the reasons you think. And it's the insistence and expectation in your belief system about why you think those people should be in your life that's getting in the way, instead of allowing them to be there for the reasons that actually serve you. Because there are no accidents, and they're in your life for a reason, but they're in your life to teach you lessons. And one of the lessons is to not impose a societal assumption or structure on what a relationship is just because of the strength of the attraction. It's about the idea of what are you learning from that relationship that allows you to become more of who you are and choose the things that you really prefer vibrationally in your life, instead of just insisting that this thing that has been attracted is supposed to serve a certain purpose, instead of just simply learning the lesson that it may be showing you that you need to let it go in order to attract something else that would actually be more relevant for you. So it all serves a purpose, but the question is, are you learning the lessons from what that relationship is showing you, or are you continuing to insist that it should be something that it's not?
Ilya Ovna Bashar.
Good day, good day.
Thank you for being the loving reflection that you are, by the way.
It is our passion and our pleasure.
I recently came to have some validation that I have a connection to the hybrid program,
All right.
and I've made agreements with certain mantis beings. There was a symbol that came through about phoning home, and I was hoping you could add some light to this.
Phoning home.
Yes.
All right. Well, first and foremost, when you are dealing with the mantis beings, with the grays, with the hybridization program, you are usually experiencing a shift in your energy vibration that is closer to the idea of spirit. And spirit represents your true home. So it could simply be your interpretation of realizing that you were very close to home, vibrationally speaking, anytime you had any of those encounters.
Okay. Did I make a agreement to do any channeling for one of these beings?
Do you mean with one of those beings, channeling one of them?
Yes.
It is a probability that you can pursue if you wish.
Could you give me a name or permission slip to follow that pathway?
Well, are you first of all talking about being excited about vocal channeling or automatic writing or doing some kind of readings for people or divination systems? What style of channeling? Because remember, anyone that is doing what they love to do is in the channeling state. They can decide how they wish to express it. That's up to them. So what form of channeling are you most passionate about exploring?
I think I'm still trying to decide that, but right now I'm leaning towards the vocal side.
All right. Well, are you willing to gather people around you who are asking questions so that they can pull the information through you?
Yes, absolutely.
All right. Well, then we would suggest that you do that. But you have to get out of your own way. You have to not care what comes through. It has to be all right if you get nothing at all. You can't be worried about looking strange or silly. You have to allow the information to come through by having people ask questions that pulls the information through you into them, so that you can just be the conduit and the vessel, and you don't have to think about what you're getting. So it's a relaxed state of just allowance of whatever happens to happen, knowing that at that moment, even though you will get better with practice, that whatever happens in the moment is what needs to happen to give you the opportunity to practice and to feel out how the information comes through you and what your particular style is all about. So if you're willing to start that way, then gather some people who are willing to help you practice by asking questions that they would really like to know the answers to, and see what happens.
Okay.
All right?
So further on that, during the same time when I got the symbol, I also got information about following patterns of cubes. And you mentioned something about how a cube symbolically is kind of grounding into physical reality. Is there any
Yes.
information you have about how that might connect to block DNA?
How it might connect to block DNA?
Yes.
Why do you think that the cubes block DNA?
Not block as in do not allow to proceed forward, but block is in term of a cube as a shape, I guess.
All right. Well, it's simply, again, symbolic of the idea of physical reality in a grounded sense. That's why people instinctively refer to your planet as the four corners of the world. They think of it in a cubic form because that represents the idea of a very solid, stable, grounded shape. It's symbolic in that sense of a full experience in physical reality. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think so. Uh, Separate question. So I've recently come across some information about uh, Tigetans. Is there anything you can add to the conversation about that at this time?
We are not allowed to discuss that at this time through this particular terminal.
Okay. Separate question then. So nature of physics. So when we transition and our universe essentially turns into spirit and less crystallized in physical reality, what happens to that physical reality that was our universe?
It remains within your soul. It remains within the oversoul. It becomes information that allows the soul to grow and make decisions about what it would like to do next. It's rendered into information, basically.
Okay. So concepts such as life insurance is useful for those who have perception agreements with us who also agree to that. But in terms of our physical reality, that's becomes information.
Yes, it all turns into information that the soul can use to decide what lessons to have learned from it, from the experience, how it all factors into what the soul will decide to do next for its personal growth.
Okay. If because we are shifting realities, one of the things I wish to do is honor all the life that I encounter. So when I'm in a situation for like weeding a garden, I
Yes.
don't want to harm those second density life forms, but I recognize that I shift to an earth where they're already different, but still I express the action of, well, I caused harm in the sense of my continuity. Can you help me address that perspective?
Well, you must understand the idea that in nature, certain things sometimes do go through a cycle where they do disintegrate in order to reform. So if you do it out of respect, out of love, and fall into a natural flow of your relationship and your connection to nature, then you will find ways to do that that actually are in keeping and in alignment with the natural cycles of nature for things to be apparently destroyed so they can be recreated. It's what you simply refer to as the cycle of physical reality, the cycle of life.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
All right.
And then I guess lastly, is there any other information that is open to coming through at this time?
When you start practicing the idea of channeling, make sure you allow yourself to adapt and to change in whatever way, shape, or form it seems natural for you to do so. Do not become rigid in the way that you think it has to present itself. You may at first start with your own higher mind, bringing that through so you can gain familiarity with what that feels like. And then you may start being aware of connections that you may have to other beings, like the mantis, where you then can, with further practice, bring through information from beings on that level as well.
Excellent. Thank you, Bashar. Ilya
You
Ave.
are welcome. Aveo.
Veo.
Hey Bashar, I hope you're having a blessed day. My name is Alexander. Pleasure to meet you. I've I've had this weird experience that I now have been learning from one of my guides and teachers that they believe that I met my past incarnation in this life, and it caused me to experience a massive expansion in consciousness as a result. And now I look back at my life, I look back at experiences, and like I don't remember them the same anymore. And because when I bounce them off people like family members, they're telling me a different experience that I remember, and it's making me feel like I'm going crazy. But my question is, I've been having these high rises of consciousness where I'm super present, super aware, super there, and then it just drifts away, and then I become like unconscious again. And I wonder how your species, how your kind has dealt with this while they've been like let's say you're born, as a different species, another race, wherever, and your kind is more evolved than our kind. So how would you guys have been teaching your younger species how to deal with the waves of coming and going of presence? I'd really like a tool for that, if that's okay.
Well, first of all, the idea is that you're opening up to being able to experience the concept of parallel realities more concretely. Because past isn't really past, it's just another parallel reality that exists simultaneously with what you consider your present focus to be. So the idea is that you're opening up to being able to experience parallel realities. You'll get used to it. Don't worry about it. Move forward in your life by following the formula. Synchronicity will start arranging things in a way that will make sense in terms of what it is you're tapping into in a parallel reality and how you can use the information that you're tapping into to download it in a way you can apply it in your present life, in your present focus, in a way that benefits you. But you have to be okay with understanding that as you expand your consciousness, you're going to suddenly be aware of all sorts of parallel realities that you're connecting to because you are a greater being that covers more than one reality. So it's just part of the symptoms of expanding your consciousness in this day and age. Allow yourself to follow the formula to allow synchronicity to organize this in a way that you can use it in a practical sense in your physical incarnational experience.
Good day, Bashar. Very
Good day.
excited to meet with you. Very grateful for this opportunity.
It is our passion and our pleasure to interact with you as well. What would you like to discuss?
Well, there are several things. Obviously, first of all, you and I seem to have a similar sense of humor, and I have wondered what role a sense of humor has in the achieving and maintaining a higher vibrational state.
Well, humor is a higher vibrational state because humor fundamentally is an ability to form unexpected associations, unexpected connections to things that people might not ordinarily make connections to. So it is an expansion of your ability to holographically see how things are more connected and to express those connections in what might be considered an unusual way that opens people up to different perspectives.
Very good. I just know that you and I are very similar in that sense. I almost feel like we have met sometime in the past or have
Well, you
existed.
do have connections to our general frequency, and therefore it feels familiar to you. Yes.
Yes. Yes. All right. Secondly,
Yes.
one of my higher flow states that I achieve has been in sports, in participating in sports.
All
Do the
right.
do the Essassani have anything equivalent to that? And
Well,
sort of,
yes, we have games and you might call them sports, but it's not in competition with each other. It's in competition with ourselves.
okay, well, yes, that's pretty much my attitude. I do like to quote be to win or be victorious, but at the same time, I'm more concerned about how well I perform to a level that I think I should be.
Yes, and in that context, everything that we experience is a win. There is no
Right.
winning and losing in our society. There is, what did you learn in that experience? And if you learned something and you grew, that's a win. So even though there may be collective involvement, we're all there synchronistically to allow each other to experience our own individual wins, our individual growth in how we experience that particular exercise.
Okay. S- Delving into extraterrestrial races, if that's okay.
Yes.
Are there any that are actually genetically equivalent to humans on Earth?
Well, very much closely genetically connected, like the Pleiadians, who are, in a sense, your distant cousins.
Right.
So, like that, yes, there are genetic connections between humans on Earth and different species. But after a point, it becomes very, very different, and many alien societies look nothing like you. But there are several that do, primarily not only just because of the morphogenetic fields that say this is a efficient form, so they look humanoid or human-like, even though they may not necessarily be directly genetically connected to you in the way that you think, but there are some that are actually truly genetically family,
Right. Okay. So they
such as us.
have they populated the Earth at some point?
There have been times in the past where other societies have taken advantage of the Earth environment for a period of time. Yes.
Okay. All right.
It's part of the history that you don't know.
Right. Okay. And that will be revealed at some point.
Eventually, yes, after open contact.
Okay. Uh, Something I wonder about you specifically, how much do these sessions deplete you, or do they deplete you in any
No,
way?
of course not. Why would they deplete me? Why would I do it if they did?
Well, as a first contact specialist, that being your desired role,
Yes.
that doesn't necessarily mean it wouldn't necessarily have some impact on you per se, I guess.
Well, the impact it has is that it energizes us.
Okay.
It is what we love to do. And therefore, we are operating at a very high frequency. And at a high frequency, we are energized. It never depletes us because we are simply being a conduit for a higher frequency, passing through us, leaving us with energy. It doesn't take energy away from us, it supports us with a higher frequency energy.
Yes, I know. Well, uh, I'm feeling energized just in this little discussion. So I can
All right.
imagine, I guess, that it has quite an impact on you in that case. I,
Yes.
I think that's going to be it.
All right.
I definitely appreciate your time and your dedication.
Again, the dedication is automatic when you are focused on what you love to do. So, we thank you. Aveo.
Avail.
Good day.
Good day.